Hello, welcome to Four Records. I'm Forrest. This week I got a guest co-host, Jason Stone, our editor here at Dying Scene.
Hey everybody, glad to be here. This was really, really fun. And I keep saying this to everybody that'll listen. I'm really happy that Forrest and Karina started this podcast on our network because I enjoy the hell out of this project.
Thank you, thank you. This week we have Jennie Cotterill from Reckoner and Jenny Bakes as our guest.
Jenny and I go way back. It's been probably a decade or so, and that comes up during this episode. This was a really fun episode, not just because I got to help do it, but like I feel like Jenny is a great guest. Like Jenny exactly got the point of this show, and I think knocks it out of the park as a guest.
Yeah, 100%. She talks about your Elvis Costello a bit, which I was excited that we finally got an Elvis Costello
I know. I
personally.
was happy for you that we got to
Yeah.
talk about Elvis Costello. And I think like Jenny talks in this and people pulling this up and listening to this will realize it's a fairly lengthy episode, but I have a feeling that if you listen to it, it goes by quick. But probably halfway through, she talks about Elvis Costello and especially how Elvis Costello's records, particularly of a certain genre, timeline, influence her songwriting. And that is not a thing I've known. As I said, I've known Jenny for a long time, and that's not a thing that I had thought about before. And I went back and listened to Reckoner with that lens, and I totally get it. She's exactly right.
Well, it makes sense. They do cover peace. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? So,
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
right. That does make sense.
yeah. But all right, well, here's Jenny's Four Records.
Enjoy. How are you? It's been a while.
I'm good. How have you been?
Keeping busy. Keeping busy.
Cool. I saw your daughter's an adult now.
Yeah, just almost legally. Yeah, we've looked at 16 colleges this year.
Yeesh.
It's time to start whittling that down. Yeah.
Whoa, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? What does she want to do?
Probably history and to be a history teacher, but we'll see how that goes. But that's what she's been stuck on recently, so that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Forrest, are you on the East Coast too?
No, I'm in Anaheim.
Oh, hi.
I've gotten to see you play plenty of times. I've seen Reckner plenty of times, or a couple times. Whenever you guys have played out
Ooh.
here. When
Oh, well, we've only played a couple times.
yeah, we
God.
we went. My daughter and I went and saw you in May. When we got a picture with you and bought your shirt off
Oh,
of you.
wow. Well, thank you.
No,
Sorry,
she.
I have like when I'm in the dark. I like cannot remember anything. I'm just like, did this happen? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's a big fan. She likes Reckner a lot.
Thanks for raising your child on music. That's
That was the
cool.
plan.
I know. Oh my gosh. I obviously I don't have children, but I'm just like that would be the biggest rebellion to just be like, fuck you, mom. I don't like music. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's
It,
fine.
it it is weird when you grew up on punk rock music, so like rebellious music, and then like what do your kids listen to rebel against the music that you've been teaching them to? And my
They're
kids
like
found a
mega
way.
youth. They like house music or
They
something.
yeah, like weird hip hop kind of stuff, which is fine, but and pop music becomes like the thing that they use to revolt against the stuff that we use punk to revolt against. It's weird. It's really
Is that what your daughter's into?
kind of yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's
which is
okay.
which is fine. We joke that I have a list of all the shows that she's ever gone to because I have a list of all the shows that I've ever gone to. So by extension, I started one for her, and she's up to 51, I think, shows that we've brought her to, and one of those was one of her shows.
What? She has,
Yeah, yeah, she
does
has
she have a
like
band?
No, no, no. Like one meaning a show that she actually wanted to go to, not like
Not that one that you were
something
like,
like,
hey, guess what you're doing tonight?
yeah, not like, hey, we're going to whatever, see
Well,
the bouncing souls
I mean,
today.
I
She's
I
like,
did
oh, do
meet
we have
her
to?
as your like kind of like a little baby koala, you know what I mean? So I
Yes.
could see her being like, I don't need this. Like I've
Yeah.
been dragged to this my whole
Yeah,
life, you know?
exactly. But she did
Okay.
get used to that sort of like being friends with the bands and stuff and like watching shows from the side of stage. So then when we have to go to shows that are not in my world, it's like, oh, we just have to be back with the normies.
Yep. You're a plebe now, babe.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. You could have stuck with my music, but no.
Right. Could
Kidding, it's
have a
funny.
good view here.
Exactly.
Oh,
As long as she likes
yeah.
something, that's all I care about.
Oh my
I
God.
like that they find
Yeah.
their own thing. Yeah.
People
Because
don't.
inevitably they drift back to our music anyway. I found that's what I found when like doing my own episode of this For Records podcast is like looking at what has been important to me over time, and like I have so reverted back to like my dad's generation.
Okay, so my family, we're like road trip family because we're like the only kind of satellite contingency of like our extended family. Everybody else kind of lives in like groups in like Philadelphia and like Maryland and like so we would be driving all the time to go see people and it was like road trip music. Like my mom's super into
Yeah.
Motown and my dad liked, you know, rock stuff, but also just Fleetwood Mac. As a kid, I hated it. And then like
Yes.
now, once I
Yeah.
started like writing music and like understanding like what happens during production, I was like, Fleetwood Mac is fucking amazing.
Right?
Like from the songwriting and like production and like just like the background vocals are
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
crazy and like we take it for granted because it's like been shoved down our throats, but also like I personally like hate the single and radio hit of any record because like you're
Yeah,
tired
right.
of it and you take it for
Right.
granted, but then like everything else on the album is like wow. So I finally came around in my like mid 30s to like appreciating Fleetwood Mac. So
That's how I was with Springsteen. It was like all Springsteen all the time. And then I went into this weird, like, I can't like Springsteen. That's my dad's music. Nah. And then I went,
yeah.
oh, wait, no. Springsteen was actually really good.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry,
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
that happen to you, Forrest?
No, I had the beat. My dad had the Beatles, and I loved the Beatles growing up, and I still do. My
Okay.
son is obsessed with the Beatles. He's obsessed with the Beatles and Madness right now.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
yeah. And every day he's like,
Okay.
he's on the spectrum, so he'll ask me questions all the time. You know, it's lately it's been like, hey, you like the sun and the rain? Yeah, yeah, I do.
I do. Thanks for
Yeah, I
asking.
do.
Does
Yeah.
he know about Squeeze? I feel like Squeeze is like weirder madness, like,
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It's
Squeeze
kind
would
of
be a
like
good
a,
one for him.
yeah,
Ooh, for
madness
cats.
adjacent,
Ooh, that's
maybe.
a good. I'm gonna throw that his way. I like that.
Okay. He might like it. Cool. Well,
Awesome,
thanks for
awesome.
having me. I haven't done a podcast in like, well, maybe a year. And then before that, maybe 2 years. But yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. What was your did you have any type of thought process or any way you kind of figured out like what's your record for each of these?
Oh man, I took notes. I like listened to things and like yeah, I in the beginning I was like, "Whoa, okay, so childhood and teenage was kind of tricky because like as a child, you don't really I didn't have like a lot of like autonomy as far as like I didn't have any money and like in the 80s like you don't you know you kind of can only like come into contact with things. You can't just go like mom drop me off at the library and I'm going to randomly look up, you know what I mean? Like so I was kind of limited to what I was exposed to. So that was tough. But I do remember like really liking certain things. Like I actually really loved Tina Turner when I was like very small. And There's like a joke in my family where I was like 4 years old and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna be Tina Turner when I grow up. And she was like, that isn't how it works, and you're definitely not. Like, so yeah, I really did not hit the mark on that, but it's okay. And then road trip music, you know what I mean? Like I just like I hate Foreigner, like I still hate Foreigner. I'll
Yeah, yeah,
never
yeah.
come around on that. But like, Hall and Oates, pretty airtight. Like I said, I like Fleetwood Mac now, but I hated it as a kid. And then teenage was tough for me because like I like got a guitar when I was 12 and I was like, do we count 12 as teenage? Because I think middle school is when people start making
Right.
decisions about what they like and becoming sort of like autonomous little tastemakers. And but again, it was limited by like what's on MTV, what's on Beavis and Butthead, because that was better music. You know what I mean? That's where I found out about good music, and then what's on the radio. So, and we lived in like the Detroit area, so there's like a different. I kind of, sorry, this is a tangent, but I kind of miss like pockets of like insular or like isolated radio music, like when you
Mm,
would take a road trip and be like, what's on the rock and roll station in Georgia? Like it's
Yeah.
different than what's on the rock and roll station, or the oldie station too is really fun because like in Detroit, I was like, oh, every oldie station is Motown, and it's like,
yeah,
no, it
right,
isn't. Like
right.
some people have
No,
not
it
heard
definitely
this
was
somehow.
not. Yeah, it definitely was
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
was it in New Jersey?
I was in New Hampshire. It was
Okay.
when I was a kid, it was a lot of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
Oh.
Mamas and the Papas, stuff like
Oh,
that. What's
okay.
that? What's that America like been through the desert on a horse with no name? I vividly
Oh,
remember it like that. And then I don't even remember who did it. To everything turn, turn, turn. There's
oh,
like
beautiful. That's a
Oh,
what
beautiful
the
song.
yeah, I don't remember who it is, except I had an uncle who his favorite music was oldies music, and every time we were in the car and that song would come on, he would inevitably like turn the car like because it's to everything turn. He would
Oh
inevitably like
no.
swerve the car. I
It's
have
an uncle joke. Yeah.
vivid memories
Okay.
of my uncle
Yeah.
Bill, rest in peace, like
Oh.
swerving into traffic because it said turn, turn, turn. Wow, I hadn't thought
Forrest,
about
did
that
you
in
grow
forever.
up in Anaheim?
yeah. I grew up in like in Buena Park, like just a town away. It was my mom was usually the one who was driving, and it was kind of the same music. But she's young. My parents are young,
Okay.
so she actually had like that first Madness album. So she liked a little bit of the '80s like new wave stuff, but she also
Wow.
liked kind of the '70s rock from when she was a kid. So it was a
Okay.
mix of there. She likes Black Sabbath and she likes Madness, and but she also likes the Beatles and she likes Bad Company and like the bad '70s
Hmm.
rock bands that that yeah. So it was a good
Yeah.
mix, but like things, but as I got older and I started hanging out with friends, a lot of stuff I didn't hear. Like I didn't hear Hall and Oates until like my 20s, like knowing it was Hall and
Oh
Oates
Okay.
wow.
because she didn't like Hall and Oates, and I told her, I'm like, do they just not play Hall and Oates out here? And she goes, oh no, I changed the channel like every time.
You deprived me of some really good stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
there were a lot of bands where I was like, oh, I think where I've heard them later and been like, oh, I know this song. Oh yeah, I know this song. Oh yeah, I know this song, and
yeah.
they
I
would
know
just
all the
play it for
words,
me.
huh? Yeah.
The Beach Boys was like that when I sat and listened to them in my 20s, and then when we did the Fleetwood Mac for this podcast, same thing. I was like, oh, there's like 7 songs they played on the radio that's
Yeah.
like on that album.
Yeah, imagine. I was just at a record store that had like, I mean, honestly, what I would consider the stuff that you find in like the $2 bin was like the whole place. You know what I mean? So it was like obscure 70s bands and like the super exploited groups where like some producer was just like enslaving these people. So they had like maybe a hit per album and it was just
Right.
like bullshit for the rest of it. And like, and then when you get one of those albums where like the artist had some respect from the label and like I keep saying autonomy, but like autonomy to like
Mhm.
write what they wanted, and you're like, there's 10 singles on this thing. Like, when you let people do what they want, they like really turn it out. But um that was fun. So yeah, growing up Metro Detroit, we also kind of shared the alternative rock station with like Windsor, Canada. And so I didn't learn about the Canadian radio thing until like I was touring, but there's like a certain percentage of like what gets played on Canadian radio needs to be Canadian bands,
Yeah,
which
right.
is like it like A supports Canadian, musicians, but it also like fosters the arts literally. So like they
Yeah.
have better bands because they like get money and like so there was a lot of good music coming from Canada. This would be like 90s alternative, which I think is actually a great era,
So
you
like Our
know.
Lady Peace and bands like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sloan,
Sloan. Yeah.
like
I Mother
yeah,
Earth, I think was Canadian.
it
Well, I mean
was
the
good.
Tragically Hip, obviously.
Yes.
Because we had much
Yeah.
music. For some reason, we had much music, which was like
Okay.
Canada's version of MTV. And so
Oh,
they played largely like this is late 90s, early 2000s, because this is when I was in college, but they played mostly stuff like that, like mostly
yeah.
Canadian. It was
There's
always
like
like
a
George Strombolopoulos hosting, and it was just like a slew of Canadian rock bands that you never heard down here.
That's so cool. I didn't
Yeah,
know, you know what I mean? And then I moved
yeah,
to California like kind of before the internet was for everyone. It's like 2001 or something. It was just like everyone just being, you don't know who this is? And I was like, listen, it's a different country.
yeah, right,
I was
right,
in a different
right,
geographic location. I could quiz you on Motown and doo-wop bands and you would fall on your face, my friend.
right,
But
right.
so yeah, I was kind of like not sure if I should pick something that was like present for me, like learning to play music, because that is something that was impactful for me. Um, I tried to pick things that like have stayed with me that I still listen to, like that hung on and like because I kind of forget about how bad my taste was, because it's like
Yeah.
I don't remember being into that, but it's like you were. So that was one of the qualifications was like, do I still love it? Do I still listen to it? And like also like then I went with like, did it affect the course of my life? So I was like, should I pick whole, live through this?
Mhm.
Because like
Yeah.
at 12 and 13, I was like, this is amazing, and like changed my perspective of like, what women are doing, and like I really identified with like not wanting to be like a pretty princess and like kind of turning that on its head because there's a lot of glitter and like absurd feminist tropes being like inverted in that album and
Hmm.
like being ugly and loud and making ugly loud sounds, and that's kind of how I felt at the time. But I don't think it's my favorite record. It's like very
Mm.
important to me. um so I picked something that I still like, that I think also maybe stayed with me longer. And then 20s too, because that was really like when you're like this thirsty little sponge and you have your own money and like you can get yourself to whatever show you want. So that was obviously like a dense time for me. And but also it spanned like I mean it's gone, but like there was that stuff in like 2007 when like big festivals with like very mixed bills were happening. Um it was just like eclectic taste was kind of more
Mm.
before the algorithm narrowed it down for everybody, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Um, yeah, so that was I made a good choice there. And then for current record, I just went with like what is on heavy rotation for me like right now. But that was tough because I was like, you know, I don't know. How did you guys pick your most current record?
My most current, the one I picked was the Linda Lindas, the first album. And it's something I was able to share with my daughter. I mean, my daughter was getting into music, and it was some of the first kind of gateway things I was able to share with her, and I liked it. I mean, it was a really good album. I saw them like two or three times before I got to get her to see them. But if my family has a band, like my wife, my kids, we all go see them at least once a year.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so cool. Do you know Martin, Eloise's dad?
I've met him a couple times. He's super nice.
He's like a big fixture out here.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to those Save Music in Chinatown
No, that's when my kids
concerts?
were babies. So I wasn't
Okay.
able to get out as, but I'm in Orange County, so it's a little harder to get out.
Okay. He's just like, Jay, do you know Martin?
I don't know. I think I do
Okay.
by name, but yeah, I don't
Okay.
personally.
He's like he's at every show, you know what I mean, with
Hmm.
Eloise usually and like Wendy, his amazing wife, but like Martin was like the music editor for Giant Robot magazine.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that it was like shaping culture,
Yeah.
especially with like in Southern California, like that kind of art culture crossover at the beginning of like pop surrealism and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
collector culture and like so then when Eloise was like in elementary school, he organized all these like fundraisers for her like school music program and they were called like Save Music in Chinatown and they happened maybe once a year or twice a year and he would get like punk rock legends to play like a daytime show for like children,
That's
with
awesome.
like, and
Yeah.
he like ethically stacks the bill where it's like big time legend where you like see the flyer and you're like, of course I'm gonna go for $15. And then like, like mid-size active local bands all the way down to like young, emerging, you know what I mean? Like he's a community guy and it's
Yeah.
like yeah, Eloise, I guess the Lindas were like a rock and roll camp for girls rock camp band too.
Oh,
To
cool.
like turn into like mega stars is
Yeah,
like,
right. Right.
Hmm.
it's just like very dreamy and very cool. So, and they're great. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, as a
anytime we
bunch of
can
dads,
get out,
you
we
know.
go. It's fun. They've closed. My son has been like my show buddy for the last year and just loves
Wow.
going.
That's cool. That's so cool. Um, Well, okay, I tried to find my records for these.
Oh, wow.
And full disclosure, I don't have the Possible Humans record because it's Australian and it's new, and I think there's an
It just came
embargo
out like
going
2
on.
weeks ago, didn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
not turned it
That
off. I
rules.
only
Yeah.
turned it off to do my homework for this podcast. Like, it's so good. Did you
Yeah.
listen to it?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did my homework. So I
Okay.
listened to all four of these records,
same.
some
Okay.
for the first time in a long time.
Right? Yeah. Well, okay, so we go chronologically, is that
Yeah. So
right?
let's go
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so my childhood pick is ELO Out of the Blue. I tried to find it and I think I might have taken it to school to show my students the artwork, because the artwork is fucking bananas.
It
Have you
is.
guys
Right.
ever beheld
Yeah.
this thing? Okay.
I'm pretty sure my dad had it growing up. We didn't listen to it a lot because there was definitely most of this record. I went, I've never heard this before. Like, how have I not? Like, I know who ELO is. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Blue Sky came on. I was like, oh, I know this song. That song has 1.1 billion streams on Spotify,
Yeah.
which is just bananas. Because I don't know that I had listened to it all the way through ever really prior to doing this, which was really weird.
It's I would I don't think I'm a prog rock guy. Like usually I'm just like, would you
Yeah.
please get to the point? I don't care.
Yeah. Right.
I don't do drugs, so I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
But I did see this record described as prog rock and I was like, okay. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Oh no.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. I think of it kind of more like Beach Boys, which Forrest kind of
It felt like Pet Sounds. It felt like kind of another like concept album like Pet Sounds was because there's if you look, it's like in acts.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
I
Um
when I looked at the track listing online, I had to go online. I don't have the record. I had to go online and look up the track listing, but I was looking at it and it's in like four acts.
It's incredible. It's like, so everyone deserves a copy of this because the artwork truly is what got me first as a kid. Um, it's gatefold, and
Yeah.
it's like the best airbrushing. It's the best. It is like considered like the pinnacle of like 70s album artwork. This
Yeah.
guy, Shusei Nagaoka, I had to look it up. Um, it's a spaceship that looks like a jukebox, and it's like it's just so cool. And then I didn't know this, but I guess this they had a crazy set for like the tour. The stage set was like a spaceship,
Oh, of
which
course. Yeah.
everyone agreed was like very cool, but like the musicians were like, it was really isolating because we were like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Right.
50 feet
Right.
from the audience.
Right.
But and I think that's amazing too. But I think so the song, we listen to this a lot on road trips, obviously not on vinyl, but then like at the house, I was like being curious and just like I don't even think I knew it was the record that we had been hearing in the car for a while. Um, but it's like it's so it's so beautiful. And then also I don't think I'd ever seen a gatefold record before. And like it is a design masterpiece. Like to be like, look at me, pick me, and then opening it up and being like rewarded with like the full landscape of like,
Yeah.
24 by 12 and like it just doesn't stop. It's so cool. And then I was like, two records, what? You can do that? Like,
Right.
so uh anyway, like I shouldn't say this, but I'm not like a record guy. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a Discogs. I'm not good at this stuff. I don't have a lot of trivia, but I did kind of a little bit of research for this, and I didn't know that they like wrote most of it in a Swiss chalet in like 2 weeks. And like Mr. Blue Sky was like it had been like cloudy and shitty weather, and then like one day it was beautiful, and then he wrote Mr. Blue Sky. Just like these songs coming to him, like Greek
Yeah. Yeah.
mythology and like springing forth fully grown. But yeah, super cool. So the song that I remember being like my little ears and brain lighting up as a child was Jungle, which is not a single, you
Yeah.
know. I'm not a single lover. I mean, I appreciate a lot of the singles on here, but I was just like, this fucking rocks and is so weird. And like as an adult, I think it reminds me of that Rousseau painting. I think it's called The Dream. It's like it's like this kind of naive like jungle painting. It's mostly green and black, and then there's like
Hmm.
a human figure in it, and it's like nighttime. But I'm just like,
I'm gonna
was
look it
this
up on
part
my
of
phone while you're talking. Yeah.
it's like one of my favorite paintings, and also like kind of a joke at the time in the art world because I guess Rousseau was like he had some like pencil pushing job for the government, and all these other his contemporaries like liked him, but they called him like the accountant because he like well, had a day job and like
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
study art. But yeah, so that song reminds me of like that painting, which I didn't see as a 7-year old, but as an adult, I'm just like, this has to be what it's about, you know?
Oh, I
And it's
see it
just,
now. I see it now. Yeah.
so weird.
It is
And in
weird.
the cinematic, I kind of don't understand how it goes. Like Forrest said, it's like it's a play. It's got 3 acts. Like what? At what point are we in the jungle talking to animals?
Full
You know?
disclosure, I write, so I'm always doing that anyway. Like I write, so I'm always like I'm probably just trying to put a narrative into everything like I do.
Uh-huh.
So, but that's what it looked like to me. It just looked like
It
it looked like
is,
there
I
was different
think.
acts and
Oh,
it
it
is
must be. Yeah. It
yeah.
must be.
It's a journey, you know? Um,
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever done enough cocaine to understand what the journey is,
do you think
but
it
that's
was
true of
cocaine?
it
Yeah.
Oh,
has to be something.
100%.
You
Yeah.
do.
So,
Cocaine does not strike me as a creative drug. It's like an
That's
ego drug.
that's the
No,
other
it's
thing, but
Okay.
that's the other thing Jeff Lynne is known for.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
well,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I view it as like a manic thing. Like, of course, all of those songs came to him in 2 weeks in a Swiss chalet because there was a mountain of cocaine on the mirror in front of him. Like, yeah, I don't know. Having never done cocaine, nor was I alive for
Yeah.
most of the 70s, I don't know. But in my head, that record was like, wow, that like,
smacks of
man,
cocaine.
it smacks of
Is it,
like,
do we need a new
like
do we need
a like a minivan with like the airbrushed battle scene on the side of it. I'm like, yeah, just
so,
Yeah.
windows rolled down. Just
so
yeah,
does
like
that start the new game of whenever you see a 70s record, is it ambition or cocaine?
Ooh, or genius. Maybe a little bit of both. Yeah.
but
I don't,
probably
yeah.
What's the
cocaine. Yeah.
Okay.
percentage? Right.
Right.
What's the cocaine to ambition
There's a pie
percentage that
chart.
you get for this
Right.
album?
You get 100% because it is complete. But yeah, interesting. Okay, that's very funny that I like never thought about it. But well, I mean, I guess encountering this as like a weird little child that was obsessed with Pee-wee's Playhouse and like,
Oh, sure.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't it be weird? Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you do
right.
something kind of weird? And like, I also unironically love cowbell. Like a lot of times I'm like, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
this is tacky and it's always more than it should be, but like a lot of my favorite songs have cowbell in them as like the metronome. But like
Nothing wrong with
um,
that.
I think too, my favorite song on this record is definitely not the best one or the most operatic, but and I also appreciate every song is amazing. But if I'm making like a mixtape, it's going to be
Mm.
Jungle. So, um,
I
yeah.
hadn't listened to this record in long enough that I forgot that Huey Lewis totally ripped off Sweet Talking Woman. Like
He,
that is Do You Believe in Love? Like that it's the same song. And I didn't realize that. And then when I put it on, I went, wait a minute, that's a Huey Lewis song. And then obviously
oh,
it's not a Huey Lewis song, it's ELO. But I was
I
like, oh,
don't think I caught that.
he just blatantly, I'm pretty sure, stole that song. Yeah.
Guy who got mad at Ray
Interesting.
Parker Jr.?
Yeah. Huey Lewis. But I grew up on listening to Huey Lewis much more than I listened to ELO. So I had the Huey Lewis thing in my brain. Yeah. That song is Do You Believe in Love? Like it's the
See, I'm
same
gonna have
song.
to go back and check that. That's cool.
Hmm.
I mean, I think Huey was definitely a cocaine guy. That's like,
Yeah. But Huey had the natural sort of swagger of I don't know. Did you grow up listening to Howard Stern? I don't know. Stern used to talk all the
no.
time about about how endowed Huey Lewis was.
Oh,
And
of
so
course. Okay.
I think maybe there's just that natural swagger that yeah, I can steal
Like
Jeff Lynne's song.
BDE is coke,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
so. I think so.
I
So if
think
you
it is.
don't have BDE, you have to do the coke maybe to supplement
Compensate.
the income.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I could see
That
that. A
went to a weird
subsidy.
place. I apologize.
No, listen. I mean, it's so funny that you mentioned Howard Stern because it's like, I know that's like a culturally formative, also the
Yeah.
first podcast, let's be serious.
Yeah,
Like,
of course. Yeah.
um, but like my mom was like, she was like a feminist and it was like she's all fuck. I remember my brother and I went to see the movie and she's like, don't, are you kidding me? Like, don't, if you have any respect for it. And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna see it anyway. But like, it's interesting. I'm not against Howard. I just think like
He's a
now
wonderful interviewer.
he is.
He's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
wonderful
think
interviewer. Yeah.
the whole idea of like the whack pack where it's like you're actually talking to people that are like not famous and
Yeah.
like
Right.
they're interesting, they have interesting perspectives. So um yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so I also show that record to like every art class I ever teach because I'm like, if this doesn't blow your mind, let me show you Thin Lizzy Jailbreak. And it's like they like most of the time don't give a shit, but anyway, whatever.
Awesome, awesome. So
Okay.
your teenage years, it was Swinging Utter's juvenile product of the working class.
Yes. And to make me feel even older, like the paper, you know how like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the cheap, it starts to feel like it's kind of soggy and like crinkly. We're there already.
Oh,
Um, it's okay. That's good. It's mileage on my life. First of all, it's red. This is my first new record I ever bought um as a 15-year-old.
Wow.
And I know, and there's like songs about being 15 on here. Um so I was just starting to go to like little shows, and my friend Eric Holiday was turning 15, and so his sister bought him tickets to see the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. And so and they were main support for Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. So we went to,
That's a good tour
it was good, St. Andrews
for mid
Hall.
90s.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it was at St. Andrews Hall, and it was like, I think my first like ticket concert. Everything else was like, at the door, um, no stage kind of things,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
ages.
right, right.
So it was Eric and his sister Tanya, who was older, and then I had an older brother named Steve. I still do. And we would go to shows together. So it was like this like sibling
Yeah, yeah,
quadrant. Um, and I had never seen vinyl at the merch table. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I bought this record because I was like, oh, I have a record player. You know what I mean? And that is like, I hadn't even seen the band yet, but I was just like,
Right.
that's cool. And then we saw them and they were amazing, and they remained a favorite of mine. They still are. I think, Darius and Johnny are geniuses.
Absolutely. Yep.
And this record is amazing, front to
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Like, and they're like so prolific. Like they continue to put out an album. It seems like every 2 years, maybe more. Like, and the people that have been in and out of that band are like an amazing roster. And then so later being on Fat Records, you know, was like very surreal for me. And I obviously like met a lot of people that I like listened to as a
Yeah.
teenager, and that was like exciting and sometimes disappointing and sometimes very cool,
It can be both. Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
both.
but I think so. I gotta be honest, I like never disclosed to these people how much I love their band, because like they are my favorite, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
that records band. And I just like, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to like be a dork,
Be a
but like,
punisher. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Darius
yeah.
Koski, I think you're a genius. I own
yeah.
everything you've ever put out. You know what I mean? But also, I'm going to see you every day for 3 weeks. Like, so that was, I never did. But I did meet Johnny, I think when I was in Kunstbar, he had another band and he was so nice to us. And I was just like, that's really cool. But I also didn't
He's
tell him.
he's such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And I remember being sort of taken aback by that the first time that I met him, because he has this presence, this such a manic presence on stage, that you worry about him a little bit sometimes.
No,
And then I
he's,
met him in person and I was like, oh my God, he's like the sweetest person.
yeah, super
Like very
nice.
like gracious, humble, and like soft spoken. He's not like that manic crazy guy like hitting
Yeah.
himself on the head, making himself bleed on the like yeah, he's such a good dude.
Okay, so I hadn't listened to this record in
I hadn't either all the way through. Yeah.
maybe 10 plus years.
Yeah,
And
been
I
a minute
was
for me.
just like, oh, Jenny, it's still so good. Like, you know what I mean? I had pretty questionable taste as a teenager. And this is like, it's also, it's like we talked about when there's like, before you could listen to everything before you buy it, you were taking a risk, and sometimes you wasted your money on something where like there's two good songs if you're lucky, but this is just like every song is great. And they managed to get a lot of variety. I feel like
Right.
fat is a genre in a lot of ways. And I think that Swingin' Utters pushes the boundaries of that genre, continues to push the boundaries of that genre, and like has more breadth within a single album, within their career. Like it doesn't feel like, I'm not even going to say any names, but you know what I mean? Like it doesn't
Right.
feel like this like
There's
compressed
not a
range.
formula. Right. Right.
There is no formula.
No, and I think
Um,
that this record is where they sort of broke, like they really started to push those boundaries. This like,
Tempos,
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know what I
Like
mean?
there's
It's like,
accordion. Like it's really, I think, where Darius kind of brought
yeah,
in his like world music stuff, for lack of a better
yeah.
word.
It's so good. It's so good. And it was just like, I feel like it was such a win for me as a 15-year-old with very little money. You know what I mean? And for this to be like the first new album,
Yeah, right.
and then later to be like, oh, it also kind of changed the course of your life.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It's like kind of important. Um,
I feel like
so
vinyl at the merch table was still a little bit rare
it
in the
was,
mid 90s.
that is
Like
why I bought it.
I
I was
don't
about to
remember that.
buy,
Yeah,
something from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, which is the band that I knew,
right, right.
but I was like, you guys got a record? Like,
A
Yeah,
record
yeah,
I
record?
want that,
yeah.
like, so yeah. And also kind of started this like dumb thing that I always do where I buy vinyl at the beginning of the show and then protect it
That's just a
all night.
wonderful idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
still do it. I just did it at Viagra Boys. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm grown. I never learn. It's fine.
That's funny.
So,
Sure, it's nice. Wrap them up in my hand.
yeah, I just put it in a record tote and stay to the side. Um, yeah, so it's great. It's still great, I think.
I feel like that's the first tour that I saw them on, because I think they played, was it them and the Souls open for Descendants, maybe like
Wow.
sort of late
Oh,
in that
nice.
album cycle. It had to be like 97, probably,
Yeah, this I think
in
was
my brain. Yeah, the
96.
album was 96. I
Okay.
think I saw them here in 97. I feel like that tour was 97.
Sounds
And I
like
remember like
97.
that is such a like, in hindsight, Descendants, Bouncing Souls, Swingin' Utters is like, I don't know. I don't know if you could do better than that.
No, you can't.
And
No filler.
I have always since then connected the Bouncing Souls, who are one of my favorite bands ever, and the Swingin' Utters. Like to me, like they are East
Hmm.
Coast and West Coast versions of, and maybe specifically because I saw them for the first time together. So to me, they're just they've always been sort of at the same level. I think the Souls have probably been more prolific the last 10 years or so.
Really?
But I think the Souls are busy lately. Yeah.
Well, album-wise, I
I
do not think anybody is outpacing Swingin' Utters.
I forget when
Yeah.
what the Elders were busy for a while. I feel like it's been a little bit since, what's the last one? The one with the blue cover on it. I forget when that was. I don't remember anything since COVID, really. I could be
Okay,
wrong.
so
I'm not Googling right now. So,
I have to say, this is funny that we were doing albums because I love a 7-inch. I like have
yeah.
at least as many 7 inches as I do full records. And like there's the one of the best 7 inches in my entire collection is the Brazen Head Swingin' Utters.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I don't have that.
oh my God, have you heard it?
I have heard it. I don't have it. Yeah.
It's like you don't need any more than this. Like this is perfect. It's perfect. If I was on
Right.
death row and they were like, you have 15 minutes. What do you want to do? I would be like, I want to play this.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you. So yeah, it's so good. Anyway, um, shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
This was
Forrest is
this
like, let's
Sorry,
talk.
like this is like the whole time I've been like, yes.
Yeah, he's been very excited for Elvis Costello to talk.
Okay, what's your favorite?
I like Oliver's Army a lot, so I like the one in between that. That's a good one too.
Okay.
But I bought them. I started buying them in order. My mom and I didn't know we had this CD in my house for years. It was stuck in we had a desk in the desk. We had the best of, And I think when my
Oh,
parents split, my mom took it, but we never listened to it. Like it was just stuck in this desk. And then I'm like 21, and I'd been talking to somebody about Elvis Costello, and I was like, "Oh, hey." And I just held it up and like, "I'm taking this," and walked out of the
yes.
house.
Thanks, desk. Yeah.
Yeah. And just
Yeah.
played it on my, I was going to see Social Distortion that night, and I played it on my way to see Social Distortion.
It's okay. So for people listening, the choice I'm struggling between Elvis Costello and the Attractions Get Happy and Elvis Costello This Year's Model. I think it's the Attractions too. I
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, so the way Elvis and I met is um I had I had come home. I lived in California from when I was like almost 19. And then at some point, I think I was like 21, and I like something happened and I had to go home for like a summer. Um, and I was dating this Canadian who sucked, but I have to say this is important, and I would never remember him if not for he had a really great best friend. And like we would go to the best friend's house where he lived with his like wonderful family with like a really cool mom and dad and like a bunch of adorable siblings. And so Tony Poupard's mom found out I had a record player because nobody had one in her experience at the time in like what, 2005 or something.
Mm.
And she gave me like a bundle of great records, and there was like a shitload of Elvis Costello in there, and I had never heard him, at the time, because he got banned from the radio,
Mhm.
and like television. So
Mhm.
like she gives me these records, and I like start with what I knew. There was like Thin Lizzy Jailbreak was in there. So I was like, oh, this record fucking rules. It's beautiful. And then I get to the Elvis stuff, and I was like, this is so weird and so cool. And like kind of a prerequisite for me to like be grabbed by something is like, what's the BPM? Like I
Okay.
Yeah.
don't usually have the patience for something unfamiliar and slow.
And a slow
You
build.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like you can
Right.
show me slow later, but like we
Right.
need to get to the point, which like,
Right.
I remember Fat Mike being like, don't ever do an intro. And I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But like, he's right. If you don't know
Yeah.
the band, don't do an intro. Don't
Yeah.
start with
Right.
an intro. Um, and he doesn't start with an intro like ever.
Mm.
Like the first song on every record fucking slaps. And like,
Yeah.
uh, it's just so I'm torn. I feel like I got I got into Get Happy first, but then when people have not been Elvis fans their whole life, I start them with this year's
Yeah.
model.
Yeah. That makes
Same.
sense.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
It's
I got you. Because
so
you can't throw My Name Is True on to them, because it's a good album, but it's not the best representation of that band. Well, it's not
right.
that band also,
It's
it's
not
just
that
Elvis
band. Right.
Costello.
Right.
But
That's the
like,
thing too, because my aim is true. I was like, oh, that my favorite? That's funny that
yeah.
you yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I
Yeah.
thought it was for me too. Yeah. If somebody
Yeah.
had asked me, I would have thought my aim is true. And then in for doing this in listening to this record again, I went, oh no, it's this year's model. No, it's this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
I
don't you
think it
dare send
is.
Forrest another waffling email and tell him you want to change it to my
It's
aim is
fine.
true.
Oh
But
darn. I have to listen to more Elvis
yeah.
Costello. Please stop.
Um,
Oh, I was gonna do that on the
yeah.
ride home anyway, but now it's a
Okay.
full album rather than a mix.
It's just so good. It's so good and it's so weird. And like, I think, yeah, I always like something weirder because it stands out. And like, I had a friend of mine, being in Bad Cop, it was like, I feel like I was constantly being like kind of a pain in the ass and trying to like do weird things. And like, everybody was just like, would you please get in line and read the room and like stick to the script and like, and I was just like, I
Yeah.
don't want to, like
Right.
I don't,
Right.
and it was like maybe I'm not appropriate for this like lane that we're in, or like, so, and I think a lot of it is that like this guy is my hero and he just like,
He's kind of
you
like, nah,
know,
fuck you, I'm gonna do this. Nah, fuck
Yeah.
you, I'm gonna do
yeah,
this.
not saying that I'm anywhere, near, but I think songwriting wise, like this is like probably one of my biggest inspirations. And like in Reckoner now, like I'm lucky to play with like these really cool, talented people. And like
Yes.
Sven Wallwork is like our guitar player, and it's so funny because he can shred kind of like a metal guy, and like he writes great songs, but they like mathematically like make sense and like have, he's like, you do this twice and this four times and then this twice, and then it's like on kind of, you know, what is it? A prime numbers that are like,
Yeah. 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 Right.
and I'm just like, so we get into the studio where we're like talking about things and he's like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? He's like, why does that happen only three times or like two and a half times the second time we do it? And like, why would you not finish this before we go back into? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never written it down. I didn't realize that we're like getting into fractions here. But then inspiration wise, he's like, I love Welcome to the Working Week is like a perfect song.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God, isn't it? See,
so Sven, anytime I'm being annoying with my song structure, just know that it's Elvis. Like, what have you played along to an Elvis song? You have. Have you written it down? It doesn't make sense mathematically. Like, so I think that has helped us get on the same page, you know.
uh,
Yeah, that's a perfect song.
did
But
you have you gone to listen to like I've like listened to everything. Like I was like I celebrate his catalog. Have you gone to listen to the later stuff too, or did you stop at a certain album?
it's so I'm like, again, I'm not like a record guy. Like I
Yeah.
just, so I like I've like picked up a couple other, not a couple. I have a lot. I have more Elvis than anything else. But
Oh,
like
same.
these are the ones that I go back to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think once we get into the 80s, like mid to late 80s, I'm just like, I don't know, bud. I don't know if I'm here for all of this. Um,
Yeah. Blood and
but
Chocolate gets
I
a little.
No, for me, a lot of my favorite records are like 78 to 83. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, you
Yeah.
got
Like
the same
if
thing I
it
got.
came out then, I'm probably gonna like it, you
Right.
know?
Right.
It's so good. It's like a good party record too. Like you're like, we're fine for 40 minutes here. No
Yeah.
one needs
Right.
to
Right.
touch that thing. Um, that was another thing that I was like, should I pick a record that I can just like leave alone at a party? Because that's to me a
That's
good record.
yeah.
Maybe not a great album, but like if you can just like let it rip. But
I think we've talked before. You said you haven't seen him, or maybe
yeah,
I
I've
just.
never
Oh,
seen him
okay.
ever, which I
So
know he
good.
was just on tour.
That was a good one. He played at the Orpheum,
But
and he mostly played old stuff.
God damn it. You know, I've had a
He
good life, but like, God
yeah.
damn it. Okay.
I've seen him 8 times. I've seen him with the Police. I've seen
Oh
him.
wow.
Yeah, he opened for the Police on tour. And
Oh
then a
wow.
month after that, I saw him inside Amoeba, and he played the Bluegrass album that he did at the time. And then I got to get him to
What?
sign the record that I bought from him
Oh,
also and meet him.
That's
shit.
amazing.
Yeah, he did both Amoebas in one day. He played the Berkeley one like at 11 o'clock in the morning, hopped on a plane, got to the one in LA, and then played the LA one like at 6 or something like that.
What?
Saw him with Ben Folds. I've seen him with Nick Lowe. Um,
Whoa.
yeah,
Well, didn't he produce
like
one
the
of
first
these?
like four or
Okay.
five.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he comes back and does Brutal Youth. That's a good one too. That's
Terrible.
yeah. Sorry,
Wow.
I want, like you said, in your 20s, you have all that extra money, and they re-releasing everything like every 3 or 4 months. So I've
Wow.
got all the special editions. I have all the different versions of it, all the B-sides, all this. I've got so much fucking Elvis Costello.
Wow. So all of mine, I've never paid more than like $11 for my Elvis stuff
Mhm.
because it's like he has a gabillion records, and they're like he's in every record store.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And I actually we worked with we recorded a couple songs with this great guy Andrew, and he was like talking about stuff he was about to put on Discogs, and I was like, I spent like as much money as we did on the recording on like just a shitload of Elvis 7 inches and like all the bleached 7 inches, like the ones that came out before the full albums that are like so
Yeah.
yeah, I really beefed up. And my boyfriend just gave me this beautiful like picture disc of New Amsterdam. Like
Oh,
a and
that's
I
the
was like, I've never seen this before.
yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Such a good album.
Elvis.
And that's a good song
Yeah.
too. That's probably my favorite one off of Get Happy.
So it's funny that like I do think he influenced my songwriting but I don't think I knew it at the time, you know?
Mm.
And then I like covered radio and I was like, oh, this is why I do these things, like there's a lot of like so then now I'm just like I like know it about myself and I'm kind of like, yeah, that's where it comes from. He's my dad. So um
I tried to get an interview for when he was on tour last time, and they're like,
Yeah.
"No, thank you."
well he's busy probably. I
It
also
was
have to say like a lot of the like lyrics are pretty like misogynistic and verging on like kind of like mean and a little bit abusive to like,
yeah.
Oh,
you
totally. Yeah.
know, but but I still like it and I still think
Product
there's
of
like,
his time, right? Product of his
yeah.
time.
I
Yeah.
always yeah, and some of them I feel are very like just. I mean, he's got that snarky kind of sarcastic tone in a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
them.
right.
Like I know
Right.
there's some questionable things that have happened with him, but I think a
I've
lot of it is
never researched him
oh
because I'm just
don't
like, I
don't. There's
don't,
one bad thing. There's one really bad thing.
I bet I'm just
I
like
I don't
not,
want to know that.
It's
it's
not.
not
It
I'm not
was.
like a fan of people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I mean, I'm a fan of some people, but like music wise, I'm not like,
Yeah.
this is my God, and I'm getting a tattoo of you. And like, I trust that you're a decent person because a lot of times
Mhm.
when people have like a really like functional creative outlet, it's for reasons that are like not great?
Yeah.
So I'm like fine with just being like, I love your work, but
Right.
you
Right.
can go and be
He
whoever you are?
he said something inappropriate, and he doesn't know where it came from, and he's apologized profusely for it for years.
What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, when you've seen all the other stuff that he's done charity wise and all that stuff, you're kind of like, yeah, that was a little out of character.
Listen, as a person who grew up in the 90s when like
Yeah,
being offensive was like that is funny, like we just
Right.
that equals funny, so you could just be
yeah.
offensive and pretend you're funny. Like we all
Mhm.
grew up
Oh,
that way and then
100%.
learning like, oh, that isn't funny. It's just fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah. My
it
my
doesn't
brain
help.
still goes that way sometimes, and I'm like, oh, it's not
Don't
Oh
say
yeah. I
that.
fight that all
Yeah.
the time.
your the last record, your most recent
Yeah.
record, possible humans
Ugh.
standing around alive.
Yeah, okay. So first I just have to say I don't know what the fuck is going on in Australia, but it doesn't seem like they have any bands that are less than amazing.
Right? Even New
Right?
Zealand too, because I like the Beths also.
Oh, the Beths are amazing. Every band from Australia is amazing. I mean, I haven't listened to like pop music, but like part of me is like, do they even have pop music? They just have like
This is their pop
amazing
music. Yeah, right.
garage bands and
Right.
so okay, so like I said, I don't have this on vinyl. I tried to get it and I don't think I can unless like the guys that put on Goner Fest can like get a crate shipped over with all of their Australian imports. Um, but it's perfect. It's like it's perfect. It's like asymmetrical and like
Yeah.
but like there's hooks all over it, but they're not like obvious hooks. Like you'll just be like humming a little riff later. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is one song that starts out with just a shitload of cowbell. And I was like,
Yes, there
did I
is.
change it? You know what I mean? Like knowing that I love cowbell, but also that it's tacky and sometimes like a red flag for like a bad song. I was like, I had my finger on the button, you know what I mean? Which is like, how dare I after enjoying like 7 tracks before that came on. But then they pulled it off, you know? Like it's just so good. And I cried at some point listening to it. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but
I didn't cry. No,
No, I
I
didn't
listened to it
cry.
at work. So
you can't cry at
Same.
work. Yeah.
no,
It's like, I don't know. It's just it's so beautiful.
it's
There's like,
very different than I expected. I will say, because I
yeah.
had not heard of Possible Humans prior to this, and
Yeah,
so
same.
I put it on. I sort of judged the cover art like you're not supposed to do, and I hit play and I went, "Oh, this doesn't sound like I thought it was going to sound
What
like."
did you think it was going to sound like?
Oh, I don't know. I figured it was sort of like I don't know. I
Punk.
figured it was sort of swing and uttery, truthfully, like sort of modern punk rock, but like a little weird and different. And it's not a punk rock record. It's I mean, I could see that there's maybe like some Fugazi, like those jangly guitar riffs, but
Mm.
it's not like Fugazi sounding songs. There's just like these weird angular guitar riffs and melodies, sort of like you were talking about. That it's like it's really cool. It's really different. His voice, his voice reminds me of Scott Hutchison from Frightened Rabbit. I don't know if you're a Frightened Rabbit fan.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
like so I was like, wait, how are they not Scottish? They're Australian? That's weird. Because to
Yeah.
me, he's it's yeah, it's really fun record. It was not at all like I was expecting.
It's funny that you mentioned Swingin' Utters because I do feel like jangly is part of their
It
repertoire.
is.
And like, I just kind of like when you kind of lose track of the song. And
Yeah,
the structure is like, you no longer are sure what is a chorus and what is a verse and like what is coming next. And
yeah.
then ultimately, like, even the end of the song and the change into the next one, I kind of like, I just feel like it's more interesting, you know?
Yeah, I kept writing in my notes like this is really chaotic. This is really like in a good
But
sense, not like a
Yeah.
yeah,
car accident chaos, but like yeah, it
yeah,
is tough, sort of amorphous maybe. It's like you
yeah,
don't really know. Yeah,
amorphous.
it's like not
Yeah,
structured and like Fugazi guitar shouldn't go with the guy who sings like Scott Hutchison, but it works. Like I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of stuff in there. There's like I have favorite guitar tones where like if I hear the tone, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna listen to the rest of this because I want to hear that again. And I feel like there's also really good bass
Yeah,
on this. Like everyone is doing something amazing here, and I think kind of sharing the spotlight and the focus. So there is no like it's kind of like an ensemble versus like, this is about a vehicle for so and so and their particular gift.
yeah,
But
right,
and I also am not even sure like how many people are singing, which I like
right.
too. It's kind of like it's like a stew instead of like a lunch tray with compartments between the mashed potatoes and
Yeah, yeah.
like
How did
it's
you find them?
very
How did you find
um
this record?
this is Spotify algorithm, which like I don't
Say
sometimes
what you
they're
will,
so
but
wrong.
yeah,
For
yeah,
some
right.
reason, can I just take a moment and let everyone know that I fucking hate the Cowboys and I don't know why Spotify keeps serving that to me. I've literally like hit the minus button. I don't know who their agent is or how much money. I mean, I don't know, maybe they like are like the children of Capitol Records or something, but it's like it is the most irritating music. I'm sorry, this is mean. They might be nice people,
That's
but I'm just like that makes me
they
lose.
might be AI. We don't know. It's
They
Spotify.
might be
Are they
AI.
even real humans?
I don't know. I hate it. But so that makes me like, fuck you, algorithm. Or when it'll be like, picked for you, and I'll be like, okay, I'm interested in new music, and I listen for 4 seconds, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like
Yeah, like
this is
based on what?
so
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
Why did you pick this for me? Like, because you're mad at me or something? But so this came up, something from their earlier album came into like a mix based on like, I don't know. I don't know. I listen to a lot of Australian stuff, and Swedish stuff. I feel like there's like a sensibility in
Mm,
both cultures where like Swedish stuff that I like is about there's like a specific like scale that they use that I like.
mm.
Even in like 80s pop music from Swedes is like, oh yeah, they use that minor very tastefully. It makes it a lot more appealing. A little salt on the chocolate covered pretzel. Um, and then Australian sensibility, I think there's like a garage undercurrent
Oh,
and
totally.
like
Yeah.
a little bit of sarcasm. Like they even are like something's called like Dumb Cunts Bluff or something is like a
Yes. Yeah.
title of a
Yeah.
song here where I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's very Australian of you.
Yeah. Right.
It's like kind of funny and like not and unserious, even when it's like beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. So this came up, like I said, on like a mix where I was like, I'm fine with it, I'm fine with it, I'm fine with it. And then that really jumped out at me and I was like, what the fuck is this band? Oh, just your new favorite band is all.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there's
Right.
almost no info. And it's like the kind of thing where there's a band from Sweden that I almost picked called Svartkatt. And like they've been playing again, and I'm just like, should I go to Sweden to see a show? You
Wow. That's
know,
intense.
for
Yeah.
a band that's not big enough where like there's a guarantee like someone could get sick and they could cancel and I could just be in Sweden. You know, this is a thing and I'm like, should
Right.
I write them
Right.
an email and be like, hey, I'm thinking of coming to your country. Do you think you guys are really going to play that show? Which one do you recommend? Like, is there just a house PA or like is there going to be a sound guy? So I feel like this is kind of how I'm feeling about this band, where it's like, am I gonna I mean, I could easily go to Australia and just go to shows for like a month and be happy. Like, you know.
So,
These are four great records.
yeah, these are
Thank
fun.
you.
Well,
No
these are
stinkers.
my aversion usually to ELO and to synth music in general.
I was going to ask you
Although
about with Elvis Costello.
well, so I actually made notes about this because, and Forrest and I have talked because one of my record for like first quarter of my life was Born in the USA, not because it's my favorite record from that time, but it's the record that was on in the house all the time.
Yeah.
Like it came out when I was like, I don't know, 4 or something like that. I haven't really tried to listen to it in decades prior to doing this podcast, but like the synth kills it. Like I hate, generally speaking, I hate like synth and keyboards in rock music.
Oh.
As except that in it works perfectly. I know it's Steve Nee, so like he's a legend, but it works perfectly in Elvis Costello. Like
Yeah.
that's part of what I love about Elvis Costello is like the keys. Like
Ah.
they work so well in his music, and whereas I don't think they worked so well in Springsteen, like all my favorite actual Springsteen stuff has almost no like synth in it
Hmm.
because it just like I don't know, it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this because I have been trolling a friend of mine who, how do you feel about saxophone?
Generally speaking, not a fan in most rock
Right?
music. Yeah, generally
Okay.
speaking. I had a conversation. I'm gonna totally be a asshole and name drop. I was talking with Brian Baker the other day, and we were talking about because he lives in Asbury Park, and we were talking about Springsteen, and he has a book coming. It's long story short, he has a photo book coming out. There's a photo of a statue in Asbury Park area that's a statue of Springsteen's guitar, like the famous Born to Run guitar. And he has a picture of that in his book. And so we started talking about Springsteen, and he's like, I don't really like Springsteen. Like, I know I live in Asbury Park, but and I'm remiss in saying this, but like, I've never been a Springsteen guy. I was a punk rock guy. And he said, you know what? It's the saxophone.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I get
Saxophone.
it. I get it.
It's perhaps the most polarizing instrument.
Yes.
Maybe next to bagpipes. You know what I mean? Where it's like people fall on one side of the line or the other.
To me, it's
Um,
synth, man. I don't know.
I think, well, I actually, my cousin was married to this woman and they're divorced now. And she said she hated organ in music. And I was like, I don't think this is a good woman. Like,
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
So when the divorce came up, I was like, she
Yeah.
doesn't like organ, you know?
Right. Right.
That is one of my favorite sounds in music. But I think so. I have a friend that like absolutely hates saxophone, so I'm just constantly like just sending
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
but I think it's like an egg punk chain punk thing. Like you either are like down with a weird bass tooty sound that's a little squeaky sometimes and you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it. I love it. Or you are embarrassed by it and you want nothing to do with it. I do not like the bagpipes. You know what I mean? And some people are like, I love this, and I'm just like, okay.
I mean,
Um,
as the resident Boston Irish guy,
you do?
I yeah, I kind of I don't know. Mm. I like the idea of bagpipes, but I don't. Sorry, Ken Casey. I don't think they need to be in every song.
Yes. I mean, I feel this way about saxophone, and I am a fan of saxophone. So, um, yeah, it's like horseradish. Like it's the best condiment, but it doesn't belong on everything.
works works great in English Beats, Doors to My Heart. Not so
Yes.
much in Springsteen for Jason,
No,
apparently.
it's perfect. What's
Oh,
the
I
percussion
don't
in
I don't mind saxophone in Springsteen. Outside of Springsteen, not
Oh,
really a
outside of
fan.
Springsteen.
But like
Oh,
you
because
can't, I don't know, you
that
can't
guy
shit on
is like
Clarence
a
Clemens is the
prominent
man.
feature.
Yeah. Plus, he was just a badass. He's like 6'4", 300 pounds, and he played a beautiful saxophone. If you listen to the end of Jungle Land, which is on Born to Run, it's it's this long outro, and it wasn't even meant to be because like Bruce had the sound in his head, and the sax player was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, basically. And so Bruce just like pushed him and pushed him and pushed him in the studio. And I think the story is that Clarence didn't necessarily he knew know that there was stuff being recorded. He was just like, I have to figure this out. Like I have to figure out what Bruce is playing.
Oh
And I
man.
think the actual final version is like three different things that were sort of secretly being recorded, spliced together. And Bruce is like, that's
Cool.
what I want. And so like I will never say anything bad about the saxophone in Springsteen. The
Okay.
the
Okay.
synthesizer, the Roy Bittan or whoever.
I mean, there
Listen,
is
listen to Born
bad
in the
sin.
USA, the
Okay.
actual like the song Born in the USA, and tell me that keyboard line is not so effing ham-fisted. Like that's such a great song that this keyboard kills to
Oh.
me. I can't listen to it. It's the reason that like I think the keys in that song, they're meant to be like this positive, uplifting thing. I think that's why Reagan stole it to
Mm.
be like this is a song of America. If you listen to the song, it's
Oh.
super like anti-American, anti-war, anti-Vietnam.
God.
Uh,
Did,
but it just oh, it drives me nuts. Sorry, I'll shut up
no,
now.
it's that, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's so funny.
But it works for Costello, like right? It works
yes.
for Pump It Up, right?
Oh,
Like
Ugh.
that. Pump It
Steve
Up
Naive
isn't
is
Pump It
the
Up
best.
without
And
Steve Neve, right?
yeah, and he's still his, unless he's playing like he did like a blues album with, oh, what's this, Alan Toussaint.
Out, yeah.
And so unless it's like something like that where he's full on a piano player or Burt Bacharach, then it's Steve
Mm.
Naive and it's always fantastic. And
Man.
he jumps from like the organ to the synthesizer to the keyboard to the piano, and he has like five different keyed instruments. Just he just walks around the stage, and then Elvis Costello will go up and play the piano a bit, and it's
Yeah.
insane.
I
Go,
want
just
keys
go,
in my
just do
next
it.
band. Yeah. I like it. Sorry, Jay. You might not like.
Thank you for listening to Four Records. Please check us out on Instagram at Four Records Podcast, or email us at fourrecordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.